Song of Myself, Section 7, by Walt Whitman.
LibriVox.org.
Has anyone supposed it lucky to be born? I hasten to inform him or her it is just as lucky to die, and I know it. I pass death with the dying, and birth with the new-washed babe, and am not contained between my hat and boots, and peruse manifold objects, no two alike and every one good, the earth good and the stars good and their adjuncts all good. I am not an earth, nor an adjunct of an earth. I am the mate and companion of people, all just as immortal and fathomless as myself. They do not know how immortal, but I know. Every kind for itself and its own. For me mine male and female. For me those that have been boys and that loved women. For me the man that is proud and feels how it stings to be slighted. For me the sweetheart and the old maid, and for me mothers and the mothers of mothers. For me lips that have smiled, eyes that have shed tears, for me children and the begetters of children. Undrape! You are not guilty to me, nor stale nor discarded. I see through the broadcloth and gingham, whether or no. And I am around, tenacious, acquisitive, tireless, and cannot be shaken away.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Song of Myself, Section 9, by Walt Whitman.
LibriVox.org.
The big doors of the country barn stand open and ready. The dried grass of the harvest time loads the slow-drawn wagon. The clear light plays on the brown, gray, and green, intertinged. The armfuls are packed to the sagging mow. I am here. I help. I came stretched atop of the load. I felt its soft jolts. One leg reclined on the other. I jump from the cross-beams and seize the clover and timothy, and roll head over heels and tangle my hair, full of wisps.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Song of Myself, by Walt Whitman, Section 10.
LibriVox.org.
Alone far in the wilds and mountains I hunt, wandering amazed at my own lightness and glee. In the late afternoon choosing a safe spot to pass the night, kindling a fire and broiling the fresh-killed game, falling asleep on the gathered leaves with my dog and gun by my side. The Yankee clipper is under her skysails. She cuts the sparkle and scud. My eyes settle the land. I bend at her prow or shout joyously from the deck. The boatmen and clam-diggers arose early and stopped for me. I tucked my trouser ends in my boots and went and had a good time. You should have been with us that day round the chowder kettle. I saw the marriage of the trapper in the open air in the far west. The bride was a red girl. Her father and her friends sat cross-legged and dumbly smoking. They had moccasins to their feet and large thick blankets hanging from their shoulders. On a bank lounged the trapper. He was dressed mostly in skins. His luxuriant beard and curls protected his neck. He held his bride by the hand. She had long lashes, her head was bare,
Her coarse, straight locks descended upon her voluptuous limbs and reached to her feet. The runaway slave came to my house and stopped outside. I heard his motions crackling the twigs of the woodpile. Through the swung half-door of the kitchen I saw him limpsy and weak, and went where he sat on a log and led him in and assured him, and brought water and filled a tub for his sweated body and bruised feet, and gave him a room that entered from my own, and gave him some coarse, clean clothes, and remember perfectly well his revolving eyes and his awkwardness, and remember putting plasters on the galls of his neck and ankles. He stayed with me a week before he was recuperated and passed north. I had him sit next to me at table. My firelock leaned in the corner. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Song of Myself, Section 12, by Walt Whitman. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. The butcher boy puts off his killing clothes, or sharpens his knife at the stall in the market. I loiter, enjoying his repartee and his shuffle and breakdown. Blacksmiths with grimed and hairy chests environ the anvil. Each has his main sledge. They are all out. There is a great heat in the fire. From the cinder-strewed threshold I follow their movements. The lithe sheer of their waists plays even with their massive arms. Overhand the hammers swing, overhand so slow, overhand so sure. They do not hasten. Each man hits in his place. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Song of Myself, Section 13, by Walt Whitman. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. The Negro holds firmly the reins of his 4 horses. The block swags underneath on its tied-over chain. The Negro that drives the long dray of the stone-yard, steady and tall, he stands poised on one leg on the string-piece. His blue shirt exposes his ample neck and breast, and loosens over his hip-band. His glance is calm and commanding. He tosses the slouch of his hat away from his forehead. The sun falls on his crispy hair and mustache, falls on the black of his polished and perfect limbs. I behold the picturesque giant and love him. I do not stop there. I go with the team also. In me the caresser of life wherever moving, backward as well as forward slewing. To niches aside and junior bending, not a person or object missing. Absorbing all to myself and for this song. Oxen that rattle the yoke and chain or halt in the leafy shade, what is that you express in your eyes? It seems to me more than all the print I have read in my life. My tread scares the wood drake and wood duck on my distant and day-long ramble. They rise together, they slowly circle around. I believe in those winged purposes, and acknowledge red, yellow, white, playing within me, and consider green and violet and the tufted crown intentional, and do not call the tortoise unworthy because she is not something else. And the jay in the woods never studied the gamut. The look of the bay mare shames silliness out of me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Song of Myself, Section 14, by Walt Whitman. LibriVox.org. The wild gander leads his flock through the cool night. "Ya honk," he says, and sounds it down to me like an invitation. The pert may suppose it meaningless, but I, listening close, find its purpose and place up there towards the wintry sky. The sharp-hooved moose of the north, the cat on the house-sill, the chickadee, the prairie dog, the litter of the grunting sow as they tug at her teats, the brood of the turkey-hen, and she with her half-spread wings. I see in them and myself the same old law. The press of my foot to the earth springs 100 affections. They scorn the best I can do to relate them. I am enamored of growing outdoors, of men that live among cattle, or taste the ocean or woods, of the builders and steerers of ships, and the wielders of axes and mauls, and the drivers of horses. I can eat and sleep with them week in and week out. What is commonest, cheapest, nearest, easiest, is me. Me going in for my chances, spending for vast returns, adorning myself to bestow myself on the first that will take me, not asking the sky to come down to my good will, scattering it freely forever. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Poet's Delay by Henry David Thoreau. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. In vain I see the morning rise, in vain observe the western blaze, who idly looks to other skies, expecting life by other ways. Amidst such boundless wealth without, I only still am poor within. The birds have sung their summer out, but still my spring does not begin. Shall I then wait the autumn wind, compelled to seek a milder day, and leave no curious nest behind, no woods still echoing to my lay? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Salmon Brook by Henry David Thoreau. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. Salmon Brook, Pennachook, ye sweet waters of my brain, when shall I look or cast the hook in your waves again? Silver eels, wooden creels, these the baits that still allure, and dragon fly that floated by, may they still endure? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. I Am the Autumnal Sun by Henry David Thoreau. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. Sometimes a mortal feels in himself nature, not his father, but his mother stirs within him, and he becomes immortal with her immortality. From time to time she claims kindredship with us, and some globule from her veins steals up into our own. I am the autumnal sun, with autumn gales my race is run. When will the hazel put forth its flowers, or the grape ripen under my bowers? When will the harvest or the hunter's moon turn my midnight into mid-noon? I am all sere and yellow, and to my core mellow. The mast is drooping within my woods, the winter is lurking within my moods, and the rustling of the withered leaf
is the constant music of my grief. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Song of Myself, Section 22, by Walt Whitman. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. You see. I resign myself to you also. I guess what you mean. I behold from the beach your crooked inviting fingers. I believe you refuse to go back without feeling of me. We must have a turn together. I undress. Hurry me out of sight of the land. Cushion me soft. Rock me in billowy drowse. Dash me with amorous wet. I can repay you. Sea of stretched ground swells, sea breathing broad and convulsive breaths, sea of the brine of life and of unshovelled yet always ready graves, howler and scooper of storms, capricious and dainty sea. I am integral with you. I, too, am of one phase and of all phases. Partaker of influx and efflux, I, extoller of hate and conciliation, extoller of Amys and those that sleep in each other's arms. I am he attesting sympathy. Shall I make my list of things in the house, and skip the house that supports them? I am not the poet of goodness only. I do not decline to be the poet of wickedness also. What blurt is this about virtue and about vice? Evil propels me, and reform of evil propels me. I stand indifferent. My gait is no fault-finder's or rejecter's gait. I moisten the roots of all that has grown. Did you fear some scrofula out of the unflagging pregnancy? Did you guess the celestial laws are yet to be worked over and rectified? I find one side a balance and the antipodal side a balance. Soft doctrine as steady help as stable doctrine. Thoughts and deeds of the present our rouse and early start. This minute that comes to me over the past decillions, there is no better than it and now. What behaved well in the past or behaves well today is not such a wonder. The wonder is always and always how there can be a mean man or an infidel. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.